Oh my god, it is so hot. Game time. Hey guys, Nate here again. I'm going to be having another game talk with you guys about Celeste. In my opinion, Celeste is a fantastic game. It was one of my favorite games of 2018. While the game is still very highly received by people online, you always get these kind of people who say, "Ew, Celeste? That's not an indie game. It's so popular." It's like what... It kind of reminds me of when I see people talk about Hollow Knight on Reddit and people get really angry of like, "Oh, I don't want to play that. Everyone recommends it." And it's like, recommending it for a reason, dude. Seriously? They should ask for an unpopular game then, right? Celeste is known for its difficulty, and while it is pretty difficult, there are modes that actually do help with difficulty to make the experience not so heartbreaking, I guess. It's a mode called Assist Mode. I personally enjoy that they have these options and they thought about this kind of frustration you might get from playing this, because some people just want to look at that beautiful art. When you die, you respawn in the same room, so you're not really stuck having to go all the way back and go through the frustrating parts of a level again. You immediately respawn right where you died at. I really enjoy that in a game. The game has beautiful, vibrant art and fluid animation. The music by Lana Rain is beautiful. It really fits the game's theme and tone really well. The game's story handles anxiety and panic attacks in a way that feels genuine, and not like it's trying to shoehorn a plot into you or anything. The game at its core thrives at you executing the moves properly. To me, one thing that's incredibly evident in the game as soon as you play it is the level of polish in everything that you do. The controls, the movement of the character, the fluid animation when you dash, being able to control the dash, holding onto a cliff and climbing up it. When I mess up and actually die in the game, I do feel like it's my fault. That's how polished the controls are. The game was originally created in 4 days at a game jam. A game jam is a gathering of people that get together to create a game, usually set between the theme of whichever their game jam is set to. Let's say, for example, the game jam's theme is Star Wars, so everyone at the convention now has to make a game within the theming of Star Wars. And some people get pretty creative with those kind of definitions because they're still vague in a weird way. A hidden Easter egg in the game is the Pico 8 version of Celeste. When playing the Pico 8 version, one thing is very obvious. The game, even in this simple state, is very captivating. And you might be wondering, what is Pico 8? Taken directly from their website, lexawful.com, Pico 8 is a fantasy console for making, sharing, and playing tiny games and other computer programs. It feels like a regular console, but runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux. When you turn it on, the machine greets you with a command line, a suite of cartridge creation tools, and an online cartridge browser called Explore. The creator of Pico 8, Zepp, is always posting progress about his program. He's always constantly updating and tweaking it, and updating the firmware of it as well. Here's a fun fact. Lexo Awful is located at the Pico Cafe in Kichijoji, just north of the Ino Kashihira Park, home of the Ghibli Museum. The cafe is open to the public on weekends and hosts a monthly show and tell event for designers called Pico Tachi. So there's like actual events that Zepp runs in Japan that people go and show off their creations on Pico 8. There are like photos and there's stuff on his blog about it that you could definitely check out. I'll leave a link in the description. The Pico 8 program is intentionally designed with inherent limitations. There are only 8 colors in the palette for pixel art. The code language is Lua, which is a widely known and very easy to use code language. Instead of getting caught up with the art, the music, and other features of a game, Pico 8 allows you to just get the game done. Really just kind of sketch out your design and make it into something that is more tangible than just thinking about it. I like to think of Pico 8 as a way for game developers to just make rough sketches of a concept they're thinking of, to kind of bring it to life a little bit quicker than you would in other game development engines. A cool thing about Pico 8 cartridges is they can be saved into a special PNG format. They can be saved to HTML5, so they're very easy to share online and people can easily pick up and play your game. You can even go right now on their website and play those games that other people have made for free. Any of the games that are on Pico 8 can actually be open and you can take a look at the code and kind of see how a game is made. I really like that aspect of sharing stuff with the community so other people can take your idea. They wouldn't have known exactly how to make what you made, but they are very good maybe at modifying it. It reminds me of the modding community with Bethesda games and just seeing how maybe everyone that makes mods, they're not great game developers, but they can elaborate on a concept. I really think that brings to light a whole different aspect of game development that a lot of people don't think about. A cool thing too is some people even go as far as to demake a game on Pico 8. I've seen one where it's No Man's Sky, but it's a demake. There's a demake of Spelunky. A lot of the times the demakes try to make the game as simple as possible while still retaining the core. Some people demake games on Pico 8's engine to see how far they can really make a game to its simplest state. I've even seen some kind of art in like GIF tools that people make that generate art off of the game's code. The other cool thing that I noticed is that the creator Zep also like blogs about his findings in Pico 8 and really brings to light some of the games that could otherwise get overlooked. To me, this is where things get really interesting. Say you're playing Celeste on Pico 8 and you want to really nail that platforming feeling that it gets, well, you could go look in the code and see the exact properties of what makes that game feel so good. You can go ahead and see how the mechanics work with jumping and the way that they manipulate it so that you can see exactly how they make those mechanics feel polished. There's also an amazing group of people on their Discord that are also willing to help. They have people test their games and kind of ask them for feedback on if they should elaborate on a certain part of the design, if they should fix up the art a little bit, if there's something not being conveyed. There's just so many cool people in there that are willing to help and have all dabbled in their own line of code, so it's really cool to see them kind of come together as one big community to help each other make cooler games. To me, it's really fascinating looking at that stuff and seeing the unfinished prototypes, because you could see these people really push the limits of this fantasy console. You can see people start making like pseudo 3D corridors. They're making things like almost like FPSs, but they're really simplified. And I mean, honestly, the graphics kind of hurt my eyes, but it's cool. It's really cool to look at. It reminds me of when you were like a kid and you saw the jump from 2D to 3D, but like in a different way. They're really pushing the bar in terms of just like what one limited program can do. All in all, what I got from Celeste was not only a cool experience, but a deeper dive into game development. It helped me understand a lot of things I maybe would have understood at first. And I'm not very good at coding or anything, so it's not like I learned how to code, but it got me interested in how games are made and understand that games are freaking hard to make. It got me to check out Game Maker Studio, and I made some like workable prototype of Asteroids for the Atari. And even then, a simple game like that was pretty time consuming to make. It helped me really see just how much effort gets put into game development as a whole. I would honestly recommend buying and checking out Pico 8. It's like $15 and you get access and updates to it for life once you own it. I find it to be a great value because not only do you have access to use the tools to learn how to develop your own games, but you get the option of exploring, which is just looking at all these games that the community has made. And obviously some are hit or miss and some are not done, but they just want to show a prototype. So it's really cool that you get to see a lot of stuff by its own community. It's not like a lot of game developers using a smaller limited engine like Pico. It's cool to see the enthusiasts and hobbyists make something really cool, and it could help you further find out if you really like making games or not. And I previously mentioned Game Maker Studio. I also would recommend checking that out if you want to get more into making a full-fledged game. Some games like Hotline Miami and Hyper Light Drifter, even Undertale were made on Game Maker Studio. I hope this video is really informative and eye-opening to you about just how much development goes into a game, even something simple. I hope it brought to light a lot of the community that's involved with Pico 8 and the developers that work so hard to make it all come together. In case I didn't make it clear, I would highly recommend you check out Celeste if you haven't played it yet. It's a very solid platforming game. At most it's $20, but during this time I've seen it on sale for as low as $5, and it's beyond worth it at that price. Everything about that game to me just encompasses a really smooth experience. When I first played it, I streamed it on Twitch and I beat it in 2 days in 2 separate streams because I just couldn't get enough of it. I had to finish it. I had to know. The game is just that great, and there's just so much to it that adds to difficulty that really rewards reward you for that. Don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you haven't already to the channel. Check me out on Twitter and Twitch and Instagram. I usually don't talk about Instagram. I kind of just post stuff on there too, but mostly it's Twitch and Twitter. I'm at What's Up Nate. Also check out the Sleepy Gamer podcast. I'm very excited about that. I love podcasting with my two friends, Abby and Mitchie. Please check that out as well. I'm gonna leave links for everything in the description. Thanks for checking out this video, and I'll see you on the next one. The game was originally created as a prototype in 4 days during a game jam. A hidden Easter egg, of a game. Come on.